Roman Vassilenko, you're the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs in Kazakhstan. Enhanced cooperation, enhanced partnership and cooperation programme you have with the EU. What are your ambitions and your expectations of that relationship?
Well, currently Kazakhstan and the European Union are at the very advanced stage of relations. In fact, I would agree with Federica Mogherini, who said in November last year that the relations between the European Union and countries of Central Asia, including Kazakhstan, have never been stronger. But we think that going forward, there is only one way, and that's way up. Because the relations have now reached a level where the European Union is Kazakhstan's largest investor and Kazakhstan's largest trading partner. But there is a huge potential to expand that trade. For example, for now, the majority of Kazakhstan's exports to the European Union are made up of oil and oil products. Of course, Kazakhstan is a major oil-producing country, but that's not everything that we produce. Likewise, the imports of the European products into Kazakhstan can be expanded because we are on a roll. We are developing our economy. Last year it grew 4%. This year we expect the growth to be no less than 4%. And we need all the technologies and investments that the European Union would want to invest for a mutually beneficial cooperation. The reason why I think that the relation will only go up is because Kazakhstan is now a member of the Eurasian Economic Union. That's a union united in a customs union, 180 million people. Of course, it unites Kazakhstan, Russia, Belarus, Armenia, and Kyrgyzstan. So anybody trading with Kazakhstan can expect to have the same treatment within these 5 countries. Next, we are next to China, and China is of course an insatiable market, and companies that are willing to come to Kazakhstan, set up shop in Kazakhstan, set up production in Kazakhstan, they are going to benefit from this closeness to China, which is just across the border, but they will also benefit from the immense development of infrastructure in the region by countries of the region, by Kazakhstan, but also immense investment into the development of infrastructure in the region by China under the Belt and Road Initiative. Somebody described Kazakhstan as a buckle in the Belt and Road in the belt, trying to describe its significance and importance for the Belt and Road Initiative. If one looks at the map, you can clearly see that it's exactly the case. You cannot go around Kazakhstan. You can, but that will cost you. Kazakhstan is the most economical way to advance that trade. So then we jointly face challenges in the region. For example, we all need to help Afghanistan. We all need to continue to help Afghanistan to stabilize itself, to ensure the stable economic development of that country. And that's a paramount interest of both the European Union and Central Asia. And that common interest drives us closer together. Next, we are currently contributing to the development by the European Union of a new EU strategy for Central Asia, which is to be adopted by the middle of next year. And again, in that process, Kazakhstan, of which we are appreciative that we are given a chance to contribute, because it's, of course, it's an EU strategy for Central Asia, not Kazakhstan strategy for Central Asia. But we are appreciative of the fact that we can contribute and propose specific areas where the European Union can further expand its presence in Central Asia, for example, through the support for small and medium-sized businesses, for the support for women empowerment. There are a lot of work to do, a lot of things to do for us together to help Central Asian countries to achieve those sustainable development goals, which are all which we have all signed up to. And there is nothing more that the European Union would want than to see a stable and prosperous Central Asia.
I mean, one of the very difficult countries in that area you've mentioned already, Afghanistan. I mean, we would all like to see peace and stability and eventually prosperity returning to Afghanistan. What role does Kazakhstan specifically play in stabilizing, helping to stabilize that country?
We have provided Afghanistan with humanitarian assistance for more than 15 years now, ever since the Taliban regime was toppled and the democratic government was established. The volume of assistance comes up to more than $100 million. For Kazakhstan, it's a significant amount. Secondly, we have launched in 2009 a $50 million worth of educational program to educate 1,000 Afghan students in Kazakhstan in peaceful professions. We are continuing that program. We are switching it a little bit into a different animal, and there will be constantly about 50 scholarships that Kazakhstan offers Afghanistan on a permanent basis. However, we are also discussing with the European Union participation in that program, so in a trilateral format with Afghanistan, whereas Afghan students will be trained at Kazakh universities, co-financed by Kazakhstan and the European Union. And that's a very win-win sort of scenario, because Kazakhstan's educational program has proven its worth, has proven that it is effective. There is a 100% return rate of the Afghan students. There is a 75% employment rate of all the Afghan students that return from Kazakhstan to Afghanistan. Of course, we are a regional neighbor. We are secular, but predominantly Muslim country. So for Afghan students, it's a very interesting proposition to study in Kazakhstan and then receive internationally recognized diplomas and go back to help their countries. So that's one of the specific examples. We are also supporting infrastructure development projects there in that country, both directly and indirectly. We have also set up an office of our Chamber of Commerce in Afghanistan. We see Afghanistan now as a source of opportunities, and of course, there are challenges. There's no denying that. But we see Afghanistan as a source of opportunities that we all should seize now.
We heard some questions today at the meeting about concern about China's involvement in Kazakhstan and this very large infrastructure investments they're making. Do you think that concern is valid? Is this a legitimate interest, or is this a power play in the region?
Well, I think there is always going to be there are always going to be thoughts in the back of people's minds anywhere in the world around any big country with huge resources and huge population. But I think that we have learned to live next to China for hundreds of years. We will continue to live with China for the foreseeable future. There is no denying geography. What we have done in those centuries of years, we have learned to work with China. This is especially the case in the 26 years since our independence. We have resolved our border issues with China. We have increased our bilateral trade, and it's a two-way trade from almost $0 to $26 billion. At best years, now it's about $18 to $20 billion. China is one of our largest trading partners. We have managed this relationship very well, I think. We will continue to do so. We see it as a great opportunity which we need to use.